a front two. The referee gets things underway. St Mirren shooting from right to left as we watch from the main stand. Overcast skies, very blustery conditions as well. The flags on the top of the north stand are fluttering away as St Mirren go towards the Jock Stein stand, the west end of the stadium. Celtic towards the Lisbon line end, and the east end as Freckleton launches the ball forward. There's an offside flag up on the far side against Mikael Mandron. As Celtic take the free kick quickly, it's rolled to McGregor, we find Scales and out to Tierney. Pat Bonner, they just all feel like pivotal weekends right now.
Yeah, every point, every moment in the game will have something to add to this whole incredible nervous probably run-in now for all the teams concerned. And today, of course, you know, other teams are playing away from Celtic Park here, and that in itself will create another dynamic to this fixture when the crowd will react to that. But yeah, and you said about blustery conditions, very blustery out there, I've got to say. Even though they're inside a stadium here that is well sheltered, the wind is causing a few issues right at the start of this game.
Yeah, it's whistling around here in Glasgow, as I'm sure it is in other parts of the country. That goes out to play for a Celtic throw-in just inside their own half on this near side, with Ralston over it as he throws it back to Trusty. I will obviously keep you up to date with what's going on elsewhere, and perhaps for the Celtic fans most notably at Tynecastle for St Mirren, what's going on at Pittodrie in Rugby Park in their battle against that 11th place as the long ball finds Svanchara left hand side, flicks it past the goalkeeper. Nygren's efforts blocked brilliantly there by Freckleton. The flag's gone up anyway, but Freckleton didn't know that, and he made an excellent block after that was flicked beyond Shamal George.
Yeah, that ball played in behind. He just went too early. Obviously Tierney's waiting for the run to be made, and just the timing of the pass, the timing of the run wasn't so good, and he always looked offside from the very start of that situation. But you're right, the defending by Freckleton was good, and that's what they've got to do in this game. They've got to be able to defend and defend properly. St Mirren against Celtic.
They've had loads of away games recently, Celtic. This is their first home game in almost a month. The last time out here they beat Motherwell, and it's been a hit or miss on the road, particularly when you consider their last two at Tannadice and Dens, either side of the international break. Lost the first, won the second. As McGregor picks up, gets it back from Yang, midway inside the St Mirren half, out to Tierney on the left, bends the ball in, too high for both Nygren and Yang, and it sails out to this near side. Yang's going to be able to keep it in play under pressure from Declan John. He has it level with the penalty spot. Bright start by the champions this. McGregor to Ralston, bursting into the box. It's well defended initially there by St Mirren. It was Mandron back, and he just outmuscles Ralston and pings the ball forward. Can't find Ayunga, who scored against Celtic twice in that League Cup final back in December. But it comes all the way through to Sinisalo, who finds Scales and rolls it along the halfway line for McGregor.
Yeah, that was good tracking by Mandron. You know, that's not in his makeup to be a defensive type player, but he did a really good job on Anthony Ralston on that occasion.
Yang back to Ralston, square ball in field to McGregor to Tierney. Celtic in an advanced position here, wide in the left of the box. It's Maida taking on O'Hara, blasts it across, takes a touch off the Saint skipper and bounces out of play for stayed in play off the corner flag. Now it's Maida back to Tierney, low ball across, is cleared by Donnelly. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, lovely step away from Devaney, rolls it back to McGregor, shoots and blocked by Campbell on the 18-yard line. Ralston's ball in's poor, it's easily away by Campbell from the right side, though it breaks back to the Celtic right back. He plays it into his own half for Trusty, and then out to Ralston on this near side. Of course, the Celtic atmosphere, the home atmosphere, might be slightly louder than it has been with the ultras over in the safe standing section, the Green Brigade back in situ, Pat.
Yeah, but it's coming from the main body of the stadium, not just from those who's in that corner. They're leading it, of course, but everybody else is joining in, and that's important. I think the fans have got a big role to play in this final run-in also.
Here's Yang Yun-Jun driving down the right-hand side. On the right side, gets a cross in. It's beaten away by the fingertips of George. Breaks to the edge of his box. Phillips gets it half away. Ayunga claims he was fouled. The referee disagrees. Celtic continue down the left with Kieran Tierney. Level with the Saints penalty spot. Rolls it back to McGregor, and the square ball in field to Oxlade-Chamberlain. fires it out to the right side of the penalty area for Yang. Now Nygren, we played 5 goalless minutes. Celtic in the front foot. McGregor shoots. George gets it only half clear. And offside against Oxlade-Chamberlain, who knocked it into the net after George just beat it straight at the former Arsenal and Liverpool midfielder. It's a St Mirren free kick. The goalkeeper gets away with one because Oxlade-Chamberlain was in an offside position.
Yeah, he's just a couple of yards off. He's obviously pushed forward into that sort of high up position. The same with Nygren. The shot comes in from McGregor, and yeah, you're right, George. He should have been batting that away to the side. Maybe the conditions, maybe that sort of kind of swirling wind caused a few problems for him, but it was fairly just to his left, high enough for him to be able to get good contact on the ball and knock it safe, and he didn't. He knocked it back in to an area for Chamberlain, but Chamberlain being offside.
Really bright start by Celtic. It's as good as they've started a game that I've seen, certainly in recent memory.
Yeah, pressure. They're putting a lot of pressure on St Mirren, forcing them back to the edge of their box at times, keeping control of this game early on.
Celtic have been in behind with a couple of chances twice in the game, but on an offside flag went up on both occasions. As Trusty picks up just outside the centre circle, to a long ping ball to Tierney, takes it down in his stride, left hand side of the box, pulls it back across, and Freckleton gets it away this time. It is ominous signs for St Mirren, this. It's been a decent fixture for them recently, good performances. They've got the odd result out of it, most notably that League Cup final. And when they have lost, they've lost by the odd goal.
Yeah, that's so important that from St Mirren's perspective is that they track Nygren, because every single time that Celtic have the ball in those sort of wide areas, he's the one. Here's an attack.
Oh yeah, it's Ayunga for Saints as he drives forward. It was given away by Celtic. Ayunga comes forward, gets it to Mandron in the box, slides in, but Scales sees it behind for the corner, taking no chances. And that's the problem for Celtic this season. Bright start to the game, yes, but they do allow their opponents, even here at Celtic Park, where they were previously impregnable, opportunities, and that was one there potentially for St Mirren in behind. Yeah,
listen, it was a good counter attack. The ball broke to them, and quickly, obviously having the 2 players higher up the pitch, also in Mandron and Ayunga, that allowed them then to get a midfield to support that, and they broke out very quickly.
So Mark O'Hara will take it in swinger with the right foot here from the skipper. Saints have plenty forwards, drifted towards the penalty spot, headed away by Nygren. And collected by Devaney, he rolls it into the centre circle for Campbell. He sweeps it out to Declan John on the left. Now it's O'Hara, flicks it back with the outside of the boot to John again, and then to O'Hara once more, level with the edge of the centre circle. When it comes back to Campbell, left side of the centre circle. And out to the right side for St Mirren with Freckleton. Looks for the big switch. He's done brilliantly. He's gone right to left, killed in the knee there by Phillips, who now drives at the Celtic box. Finds Ayunga, looking for a bit of space. St Mirren's best period of possession in the infancy of the match, which is 8.5 minutes old at 0-0. Back to Freckleton, drifts the ball with the left foot, clipped out to the right for O'Hara, pinched off him by Maida, but it breaks to Donnelly, who goes all the way back to Jamal George. Liam Donnelly is a midfield player, but he has been playing as part of that back three recently, with Marcus Fraser continuing to miss out as Phillips picks up, threads it through towards Ayunga. A little touch from Ralston doesn't prevent to get into Ayunga. He's on his right side, he shoots, it's wide of the left hand post. He tried to give Sinisalo the eyes and go for the bottom left near post corner, but it was behind for the goal kick. Sinisalo takes quickly. Good response by St Mirren just in these last couple of minutes, the League Cup holders.
Yeah, good spell for them, just keeping nice control of the game, good possession, working it from side to side, even going back to the goalkeeper and then coming back to progress high up the pitch. And then Ayunga looks like he's a threat when he gets the ball in a 1v1 situation.
Long ball down the left, Celtic. Tierney tries to thread it through with the side foot to Maida. It's blocked and breaks back to Tierney, who finds McGregor. Still goalless in the early exchanges across the other matches in the Premiership as it's played back to McGregor. Square ball to Oxlade-Chamberlain, and now it's with Scales. Scales forward to Maida. Maida's given away, but it breaks back Tierney's way on the far side. He goes all the way back to Sinisalo, and it's the first little groan from the Celtic fans there. A couple of goals in League Two. Clyde are 1-0 up at Edinburgh City, and Stranraer are 1-0 up at Spartans, who are battling with East Kilbride, the leaders, who are trailing 4 at Station Park. So 3 goals in League Two, nothing in the other 3 divisions of the SPFL. And remember, the Highland League title could be decided today. Brora Rangers going up against Brecon City in that battle, though Brora won 2-1 in midweek. They have a +4 goal difference, exactly the same points as they play Turriff and Huntly respectively today. Here, the top end of the Scottish game, it's Celtic 0, St Mirren 0, and it's Tierney forward to Chvanchara, whose ball out to Maida is cut out, and Donnelly goes back to Freckleton, and it appears Saints have weathered the early storm, Pat.
Yeah, they have, and you know, the danger area for them is in those wide areas when it becomes a 2v1 situation. You've got to be very, very careful that they're actually sliding across very, very quickly to help the wing backs. But they're playing well, they're keeping good control at this moment in time, and they're just growing into this game.
Well, they're in a relegation scrap of the League Cup champions, so they did their bid to avoid the playoff last week with a comfortable win over Aberdeen, thanks to goals in each half from Ayunga and Gogic. As Trusty does enough to head it back to his goalkeeper. They are 3 points clear of Kilmarnock. Our Saints level in points with Aberdeen, 2 behind Dundee. It is all to play for. As Scales picks up deep inside his own half, he goes back to Sinisalo at the edge of his box, and he squares it to Trusty. Trusty at walking pace here, faced by Ayunga, squares it to Scales. Clip ball forward, way too much on it, comes all the way through to Shamal George as the sun breaks through the dark clouds above here in Glasgow's East End.
Yeah, that's not Scales' best part of his game, playing those long passes over the top. He's good when he slides the ball nice and quickly out to the full-back or the winger, but playing those longer balls isn't quite what he's good at.
That's lovely play by Devani there as he flicks it infield, and then it comes out to John on the left and back to Freckleton just inside his own half. Just a lovely take and turn away from Nygren, from the unknown Manchester United player. That comes all the way back to George at the edge of his box, and he plays it short to Gogic. Forward to Donnelly. He does appear to be playing a little bit higher up the pitch at the moment, Donnelly.
Yeah, they're just popping in there, doesn't he? He pops into midfield from his centre-back position because he's playing in a 3, and just then overloads, as Michael talked before the game, overloads that midfield a little bit.
Yeah, and it's out to Declan John wide on the left. Now he's got some help down the left side of the box from Phillips. Saints in the attacking third, back to Campbell. Square ball infield to Devani.
There he is again.
Yeah, and now it's Donnelly, and that's kind of given them a little bit of a spare man that perhaps Celtic weren't anticipating.
Yeah, and when they have good possession, that's when he goes in and he allows them to keep the ball well. Here's chance.
Freckleton is at the edge of the box, shoots, deflected down low. Sinisalo to his right flops onto it. It stays Celtic 0, St Mirren 0 in 13 minutes, but it is quite clear that Celtic are far and away going to not exactly have it their own way this afternoon.
No, they started off really well, a lot of pressure, fans were up for it. They obviously desperate to get maybe an early goal. That sort of kind of fizzled out a little bit now, and St Mirren seems to be the team that is in control, and they're using their players we talked about in midfield it's almost like a 4v3 at times in there, and they're doing it very, very well. I think also they're quite happy to squeeze, as when Celtic have the ball maybe in their own half, they're quite happy to squeeze up because they know that Chvanchara isn't going to run away from them. The only thing they've got to be wary of is that ball over the top for Maeda or Yang in the wide areas.
So Tierney with a throw in midway inside the St Mirren half, back to Scales. Plays it infield to McGregor, and back into his own half for Trusty. The two managers down there, Martin O'Neill and Craig McLeish, at the edge of their technical areas, encouraging their players. And as Trusty picks up and out to the left of the centre circle for Liam Scales, and a little bit hesitant, wasn't sure where to put it forward, so he squares it to Trusty, now out to Ralston and down the line for Yang. Steps away from John, threads it out to Nygren on the right hand side. at the right angle of the box. Nygren, little dink, finds Kieran Tierney, takes a touch left of the D, back to McGregor, his side for Evert's block, breaks Stocksley, Chamberlain who scores! No flag this time! And Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain side-foots the ball into the bottom right corner. George couldn't get there, and the title-chasing champions have a crucial advantage after 15 minutes. It is Celtic 1, St Mirren 0.
Yeah, they get that vital goal, don't they? I'm just watching the scene. No, he's not offside. It just comes back to him. And the shot from McGregor just ricochets back in to his path. Good control, and then buries it in the bottom left-hand corner past Jamal George. Celtic that critical 1-0 It was good ball from Nygren down his right-hand side. He's obviously going to be sort of coming in on his left foot, and that's where maybe St Mirren, we've been naive to allow him to come in on his left, keep him on his right, and then he picks out the pass to McGregor, who's on the edge of the box, and that then leads to the strike. Celtic be happy after the game, sort of started getting away from him a little bit to get that goal, settle them down.
It remains goalless at Tynecastle between Hearts and Motherwell, but there has been a huge goal elsewhere in the Premiership round about the time of that one for Celtic, scored by Joe Hugill for Kilmarnock, who lead Dundee 1-0. So in the space of 60 seconds, a really poor minute for St Mirren Football Club, going behind here, and their relegation playoff rivals, or at least one of them, Kilmarnock, have gone ahead. And if results or scorelines stay like this at full time, Killie would be back level on points with St Mirren. Aberdeen still goalless with Hibs at Pittodrie at the moment.
Yeah, just again from St Mirren's point of view in this game, it's so vital that somebody picks up the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain. It was him initially took the pass from Nygren and put it into the path of Callum McGregor, but the big space was on that side of the pitch, just beyond the arc, and you've got to be aware that good teams will exploit that space, so you've got to be clued in all the time. I don't know whether young Jacob Devaney, he's a young boy, he's 18 years old, he's playing as a holding midfield player. Maybe he just got caught a little bit coming towards the ball, and that space then was vacant, and Celtic absolutely exploited. The shot comes in, and eventually Chamberlain's in that forward position, nobody picking him up, so he could put the ball into the back of the net. Right, so developments at Pittodrie. I think it's Grant Hanley, the Hibs defender, Scotland international, has been sent off, and Aberdeen have a penalty. We'll get to that in a moment. Remember, you keep up to date with all the scores at any time here at the website. As Alex Gogic takes a free kick for St Mirren, drifts it into the Celtic box. Freckleton's on to wide left, out to John on the touchline. It is Declan John down the line for Freckleton. Gets across, it's a good ball as well. Mandron's header down into the ground goes well wide. He'll be extremely annoyed he's not got that in target. Oh, it was a really good ball, brilliant play from Freckleton. He just almost let the ball run through him, and then quickly got his cross and took everybody by surprise apart from Mandron, and he was the one then that sort of almost didn't make good contact with the cross, and it comes off the side of his head and goes wide of the left-hand post. Well, it gets worse for St Mirren. Aberdeen have converted that penalty through Kevin Nisbet, the former Hibs striker, against his old team. Aberdeen 1, Hibernian 0. Remember, the Dons have only won one of their last 16 league games. Going into that one as they try and get their first victory under former St Mirren manager Stephen Robinson. Ralston with a long throw-in down the right for Celtic, who are one up here against Saints. 19 minutes played as Chwanchara goes back down the line to Yang and then back to Ralston. Midway inside the St Mirren half, low ball in field to Nygren, back out to Ralston, who rolls it back to Trusty, who squares it left of the centre circle for Scales, and out to Kieran Tierney on the far side. That goal for Celtic, Pat, came at an excellent time, because it came after St Mirren were looking a real threat, having weathered the opening 10 minutes. Yeah, listen, they were starting to dominate the ball, St Mirren, and that for me was probably what the manager and the St Mirren fans would have loved to have seen. But then you've got to do the defensive bit. You don't switch off, and Celtic, as I said, exploited really well, and there was a good finish from Oxlade-Chamberlain and gives him that cushion a little bit at the moment.
Here's Yang on the touchline, and Martin O'Neill will be desperate for them to get a second goal as quickly as possible. Mandron with the ball forward straight to Yang, who's back helping. It's now with Trusty at the edge of the box, out to Ralston and then to Yang, who's still out of position. Back the way to Trusty, who launches it long forward up towards Spanchara in the halfway line. Bounces away from both he and Freckleton and launched forward by Gogic. Trusty wins the header in the air and it's the goal scorer, Oxlade-Chamberlain, who passes it back, which just his second. His only other one came very late on against Livingston here, in a game that looked like Celtic were dropping points in. And it gives all the way back to Shamal George, the long ball by Celtic, and he plays it short to Freckleton. Plays it short to Gogic. Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. St Johnstone are ahead as well in the Championship as they look to go a step closer to an immediate return to the top flight, though Partick Thistle have also gone in front elsewhere in this city. Alex Samuel goal, Partick Thistle 1, Dunfermline 0 in the second tier. It was a Rory Payton goal for St Johnstone to have them ahead against the Airdrieonians. And Dundee United, I think, have gone ahead as well against doomed Livingston in that game at Tannadice. So Dundee United 1, Livingston 0. Here comes Celtic, low ball, Maida into the box, away from potentially getting through to Nygren. St Mirren blocking clear. Ralston picks up and finds Yang on this near side. Evades Mandron's challenge and goes back the way to Trusty and then forward to McGregor, who dinks it forward, the header away in the 18-yard line by Donnelly. It's played back to Freckleton at the edge of his box. And it's picked up in this near sight, chip ball forward there by Declan John, sails over the head of Mandron, gives it all the way back through to Sinisalo. It remains 1-0 Celtic, and it's Will Ferry who's got that Dundee United goal. He got his first for the club against Celtic almost 3 weeks ago. He hasn't had to wait long for his second, and Dundee United have a 1-0 lead against Livingston as they look to finish best of the rest and 7th, and being consigned to the bottom 6. Free kick Celtic, Yang brought it down, they've taken it quickly, the ref wasn't ready. But Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. We played a quarter here in Glasgow.
Yeah, and obviously St Mirren now have got to hang in there. They don't want to lose anything else. Celtic, of course, desperate to get that second goal, and that is, if you look back to the Dundee game, they got their goal, they didn't build on it, and they ended up then losing something and putting themselves under real pressure. Nygren's
got it in behind right hand side of the box there for Yang. Good slide challenge by John, puts it behind for a Celtic corner on this near side right in front of the St Mirren fans, and it will be taken by Benjamin Nygren, Celtic's top goal scorer on 19. Yang is next best, 10 goals worse off. Celtic had 3 players over 20 goals last season. Another reason why they've floundered a bit this campaign. Nygren's corner comes in, it's headed away by Donnelly, only as far as McGregor. Came off the back of his head, but it's found Nygren. Right side of the box to McGregor, first time to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Low ball across, cut out by Mandron, and Celtic have another corner. Celtic have a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, keeping the pressure on, obviously with that breeze too that's blowing sort of from left to right as we sit. I think that ball into the 6-yard box can be really dangerous. Lots of bodies in there.
Corner, Nygren, left-footed towards the back post this time. George came for it, didn't really deal with it, but he gets away with it because it's gone behind for a goal kick, says the referee, despite 3 or 4 Celtic players with their arms outstretched saying it's clearly a corner. I have to say it looked as though George has made a mess of it, but he's touched it and it's gone behind off him last.
Yeah, he kind of looked as if he was going to take that on his chest, or came one through his hands and hit his chest and sort of went for the corner. Maybe the referee gave a free kick. We won't know. Game continues.
It's with Austin Trusty, who plays it out to Scales just outside his own box as he takes it forward. The as it stands table has Celtic a point behind Hearts, up above Rangers in second. Rangers with that game in hand to come tomorrow lunchtime in Falkirk. Here's Tranchara over on the left side for Celtic, level with the St Mirren penalty spot. Poor ball, he's struggling to win over the Celtic supporters, really, the check, as he rolls it back, and Scales is onto it, but that was not what he intended. He was hoping to find somebody at closer quarters.
He had a simple pass, I think, square to Oxlade-Chamberlain, and he didn't take it on.
Well, Tranchara goes down, and it breaks back to Nygren, no free kick. Nygren couldn't find Maida, it's now out with Yang on the near side, plays it short to Ralston. Dundee level, by the way, at Rugby Park through Simon Murray. So Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 1 in Ayrshire. Here's Ralston under pressure from Alan Campbell, forced back towards his own half. He rolls it back to Trusty, and it stays Celtic 1, St Mirren 0 after 25.5 minutes. Trusty playing it short there to McGregor, to Trusty, and then out to Ralston. You talk about big moments, Pat, and that Kelechi Iheanacho goal with, I think, was it 7 minutes left of the 90 at Dens Park last week. Celtic going to win the title by 2 points, then that is just massive.
Massive, and you know, of course, he's an impact player. The problem for him is you can't get 90 minutes out of him. That's why he's back on the bench today again. But he has got the capability to come off the bench and make an impact. And you know, he is a bit of a goal scorer. Used his strength in that situation. Some might have argued that it could have been a free kick. You know, and that's what you want from a striker, or somebody at least, to come off the bench and make that impact.
The only goalless game in the Premiership is at Tynecastle between Hearts and Motherwell, the league leaders, against a Motherwell team without a win in 4. Aberdeen 1, Hibs 0. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 1, Dundee United 1, Livingston 0. 1-0 Celtic here, and Celtic on the attack. Nygren though brushed off it by Gogic, who rolls it back into his own box there, and it's Shamal George eventually deals with it, clears it first time with the right foot. Good flick header by Ayunga. Mandron's in behind him. Scales comes to meet him, back comes Ralston, plays it off Mandron, and out for a Celtic throw in on this near side. In the Championship, goalless here, United Arbroath. Partick Thistle are now 2-0 up at home to Dunfermline, who have that Scottish Cup semi-final against Falkirk here in Glasgow to come next Saturday. Here comes Celtic, Maida, great take, low ball across, and George is being caught there by Tranchara. As they went low for the ball, Tranchara's boot was racing towards Shamal George's face, and the goalkeepers felt the force of it, and you could hear the former goalkeeper to my left grimacing audibly.
Yeah, he got a really slow one, because he's diving forward. He's made a really good interception, and the momentum of Tranchara going in caught him and almost swiveled him back, that he's facing back, almost his head's facing back on.
It's accidental, though, isn't it? He's got a right to go for the ball.
He's got a right to go for it. He's just obviously you know, that clash happens in the game, and that. But he's got a really slow one there, I've got to say. But it was a really good ball over the top for Maeda, who took it brilliantly out of the air on his first touch and played a great ball across. That sort of almost 5 yards out, and the goalkeeper had to go for it. If he didn't go for it, I think that was a goal. That was the second goal for Celtic. So he's been brave, he's been strong, but he's come out the worst. Hopefully he'll be okay, but he did get a throw one, I've got to say.
Players coming over to take some fluids on as George is worked on inside his own box. Quite incredible turnaround at Rugby Park. Dundee have just gone 2-1 up against relegation playoff threatened Kilmarnock. So it's better news for St Mirren, good news for the likes of Aberdeen as well, and for Dundee themselves, who are still in the mire down there. I was going through the Championship, and Simon Murray again for Dundee, by the way, a quick fire double for Murray. The Championship, as I said, goalless Ayr Arbroath, 2-0 Partick Thistle against Dunfermline. That second goal going in, and Thistle know they need to win, but at the end of the day, it's very much out of their hands. A double there as well for Alex Samuel. St Johnstone still 1-0 up on Airdrieonians. Goalless Wraith Morton. League One, East Fife 1, Peterhead 0. Hamilton goalless with Alloa, as are Kelty and Montrose, as are Queen of the South and Cove Rangers. The top two go head to head live on BBC Alapa. 5:30 kickoff, Stenhouse Muir against Inverness Cally Thistle.
No, he's got to come off. Sorry for cutting in, Liam. They've just made a sign to the bench that Shamal George has got to come off the pitch, and that's a blow to St Mirren, because he is a quality goalkeeper, and he was really brave in that situation and made a really good save. But that's what it looks like to me, that they've made that indication to the bench, and we will have a sub goalkeeper coming on.
Yeah, it's Ryan Mullen who'll come on. So it's an experienced campaigner. I was going to ask you, Pat, how difficult is it for a goalkeeper to, come off the bench when I guess the players who are on the subs bench, the one who's not expecting really to come on is the goalkeeper. But then you were first choice for your pretty much your entire career. She wouldn't even know what I'm talking about.
No, I was going to say that. I hadn't had the experience myself because I was always probably starting the game. I did get sent off away one time out in Boston in an Irish game, and Jerry Payton had to come off the bench to replace me.
Sent off, that's despicable behaviour.
Ball held up in the grass and and a different type of grass, of course, out there. But certainly I don't know how goalkeepers have felt it, but that's why you've got to be ready. You've got to do your warm-up, you've got to be ready, you've got to be sharp, you've got to being a second choice is a completely different situation than being almost the starter every game, and that's why a lot of clubs sort of almost pick a certain type of goalkeeper to be second choice. First and foremost, they've got to be happy to be in that situation, and secondly, then when they do come off the bench, they have to be effective, because there is no hiding place for a goalkeeper, as we know, and that's so. But shame for the big man, Shamal George, coming off. He looks a little bit groggy on it. I'm looking at Mullen coming on. He's not the tallest goalkeeper, a slightly different profile.
Substitution for...
Right, on comes Ryan Mullen. He's in his mid-20s now, in a couple of years at Morton. Before he arrived at St Mirren, he's 11 clean sheets and 31 appearances last season. He's a former Scotland youth international. And he comes on to replace the stricken Shamal George. So good few minutes of a stoppage there, so that'll get bolted on to the end of this first half. Celtic leading St Mirren by 1-0. And I gave you the scores up to and including League 1. League 2, goalless Dumbarton, Stirling Albion, Edinburgh City still 0, Clyde 1, Elgin and Annan are goalless at Borough Briggs, Forfar 1, East Kilbride 0, Spartans 0, Stranraer 1. The top two losing in the bottom tier. Anthony Ralston picks up for Celtic on this near side, forward towards Yang, and incidentally that second Simon Murray goal's been ruled out after a VAR check, so it stays Killie 1, Dundee 1 at Rugby Park. Sinisalo plays it to his left for Liam Scales, deep inside his own half, and then to Sinisalo. He finds Trusty, out to Ralston on this near side. Long ping ball looking for Chvanchara, comes all the way through though to Mullen. He'll get a first touch of the ball here.
Yeah, listen, it's a poor ball though, and you got Chvanchara sort of trying to get on the outside of Alex Gogic, and the space was all down the side of both of them, and the ball's played in over the top of Chvanchara, and possession given away. Poor ball from Anthony Ralston.
Mark O'Hara over at right wing back again today. It's not exactly a position. Well, a slip from Freckleton. It's Nygren who'll nip in, plays it to McGregor. He couldn't quite get the ball into his stride, so St Mirren get players back behind the ball as Tierney leaves it for Maida over on that far side. A little bit lucky there was Miguel Freckleton. Ball down the left side is cut out by Donnelly and out for a throw into Celtic over there. Yeah, Mark O'Hara started his career as a right back at Kilmarnock and played his first ever league game here at Celtic Park as a 16-year-old for Killie in a 2-0 win under Kenny Shields. So just a few minutes ago I told you Dundee gone 2-1 up against Kilmarnock. That goal was ruled out, stayed at 1-1, but Kilmarnock have just gone 2-1 up themselves. So Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 1. Huge game, huge games across the board. It's Maida now infield to Nygren, stabs it to Chvanchara, looks for Oxlade Chamberlain, can't find him, and out for a throw into St Mirren over on the far side. Celtic 1, Saints 0, 34 on the clock.
I don't want to be critical of Chvanchara, but every single pass he's played so far has not found his man, you need a striker to be able to hold on to the ball, be able to take players in to play, and he's so important.
Well, regardless of what happens between now and the end of the season, and Celtic could still win a League and Scottish Cup double, let's not forget that. That is of paramount importance, that area of the pitch, that they sort that out in the summer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Albeit
there's a lot of areas of the pitch.
A lot of, yeah, I was going to say, but also the Celtic fans wanted that area sorted last summer and then in January, and it wasn't really. And even Martin O'Neill, upon his signing, suggested Thomas Tranchara wasn't going to be the main answer. But here's Maida in behind left-hand side. Can he keep it in? He can. He plays it back into the box. Beckleton's there first, but breaks to Tranchara's effort, saved by Mullen, who gets his luck because it bounces off. Yang in behind for the goal kick.
Score.
And stays Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. But as Pat says, that should be 2-0.
Oh, he's got the score. It just comes to and he's facing the goal, and all he's got to do is get good contact on it and just slide it past the goalkeeper. And don't know what they're checking for now. They're holding it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's for, unless there was a hand or something, but the referee's held play up just now. And play on in the end. I'm not sure what it was for, but
it's just VAR getting involved again when they shouldn't do. But yeah, it was a good ball that time from Scales over the top, and pace of Maeda got to the ball just as it was going over the line when it's cut back and the ball falls to Cianciara inside. That's almost about 7 yards out. Yes, the goalkeeper comes out. Yes, he spreads himself, but yes, you've got to put it in the back of the net and give them that vital second goal.
Ralston for Celtic. He's all the way back to the edge of his box for Sinisalo. And plays it to his left for Scales. Celtic haven't had too many comfortable days at the office this season, which is most unlike them. So used to them, particularly here, blowing the opposition away. It just hasn't ever really happened. It's been the odd game, perhaps particularly early in the season. It's been the odd comfortable afternoon for them, but generally it's been a lot more single goal victories this season than we've grown accustomed to seeing from them.
Yeah, listen, it's still 3 points, but ultimately, teams are coming here now feeling that they have a little chance if they stay in the game, because Celtic aren't scoring the amount of goals that we've seen in the past, and they can, as long as they stay in the game, they always have a chance of nicking something from it.
The thing is, Packy, goal difference could be huge this season.
Yeah.
As you remember only too well from 1986, if you can score whenever you get that opportunity, give yourself an extra point effectively. And out of the top three, Celtic have the worst goal difference coming into this weekend. Maida picks up the left angle of the box, darting across the edge of the area, takes a deflection, but it breaks to Oxlade-Chamberlain. To Nygren, right of the D on the left foot. It's a decent hit, but Mullen holds on, and the goalkeeper's confidence will be aided by the fact he's made that comfortable save from what was a decent hit by Benjamin Nygren with the left foot. It stays Celtic 1, St Mirren 0.
Yeah, it was a good effort from Nygren. He got a little bit of whip on it from the edge of the box, but he read it really well, Ryan Mullen, and of course he had that save from Cianciara also. So he started off, as you say, how was he going to be when he comes into a game like this? He started off pretty well, hasn't he?
Celtic have it with Scales, starts into the centre circle, up to the halfway line, forward to Cianciara. It's not a great touch. Devaney gets onto it. St Mirren have struggled to get hold of the ball in recent times. Mandron loses it, and now Celtic have it with Ralston wide on the right, down the touchline for Yang. Taking on John, drops the shoulder, pulls it across. Nygren decided against going for that for some reason. Goes behind Maida, and it's cleared by O'Hara. And now it's with Mandron midway inside his own half, goes back to Donnelly, who goes back to his goalkeeper. St Mirren just trying to stay in the game here right now. As that goes out to O'Hara, infield to Devaney. First time ball forward to Mandron, does well, draws the foul out of Liam Scales. Free kick right at the centre circle. It's good hold up play by the big number 9 for Saints.
Yeah, important that talk about a striker, you've got to be able to hold the ball up. Yes, get your free kick using your strength. And it was good play from the goalkeeper out the sides, down round the press from Celtic up to the striker.
Ayunga wide on the right, back to Mandron. He's managed to find O'Hara, who knocks it through to Devaney, right hand side of the Celtic box, pulls it back to the edge for Campbell. It's just slightly behind him, so he can't control. It just looked as though Devaney was in much better room than perhaps even he thought he was, and he looks a little bit rueful now down there.
Yeah, I thought he was going to slide that ball across almost between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box for people arriving in. and then when he did elect to cut it back, the pace on the ball was too much for Gogic, or was it Campbell? I'm not too sure. It was Campbell probably.
Campbell, yeah.
To deal with and to give away possession.
So still 1-0 Celtic here. It's still 1-0 Dundee United against Livingston, and Aberdeen 1, Hibernian 0. Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 1. That second Kilmarnock goal, incidentally, Seaning Larsson, who scored the winner against Hearts a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. So that's the state of play in the Premiership. Goalless still at Tynecastle. 3-0 St Johnstone now against the Airdrieonians. 2 for Payton, 1 for Boys. So they are strolling to victory, but the gap at the top looks like it will stay at 5 points, with Partick Thistle 2-0 up on Dunfermline. Goalless at Somerset and Starks. Just the 1 goal in League One. East Fife have it 1-0 up against Peterhead. East Fife 1, Peterhead 0. Brian Easton with the only goal in that one. Headline scores in League 2 as well, with the top 2 losing. 4 for 1, East Kilbride 0, Spartans 0, Stranraer 1. And as I said elsewhere at the website, the little scores icon at the top. You're listening here at bbc.co.uk/sportscott to get the live scores whenever you need them and want them, as Freckleton picks up at the edge of his box and launches it forward, looking for Mandron down the left. He can't control, goes right through him and out for a Celtic throw-in. We played 41 minutes. Celtic 1, St Mirren 0.
Yeah, and again the game's sort of almost gone into a lull again, and that'll suit St Mirren. They'll be very happy that they haven't lost a second goal and they're still in this game, and Celtic will be annoyed with themselves, because you've got to be able to build and take that pressure off you and get that second goal, but they haven't created enough for me.
It's Tranchara. Oxlade-Chamberlain was fouled though just before it, so a free kick to Celtic, just on the edge of the attacking third here, and it's slightly left to centre, but it is going to be an opportunity to put that St Mirren defence under pressure again. Trusty and Scales are making their way up towards the Saints penalty area. There will be a line of players just outside it. Ryan Mullen, the sub-goalkeeper, organising the defensive line there. Tierney and Nygren are both over it. It's maybe about 10 yards away from the north stand side touchline. The Celtic attack the goal to the right. Looking for a second here before half-time. And it's going to be Nygren. Tierney leaves it. Nygren into the box. Comes all the way through. Harmless. Right through for a goal kick. Yang can't get onto it. St Mirren goal kick. 1-0 Celtic.
Yeah, that was... I'm not sure if he kind of knew what they were actually doing there. It was just a ball played in. Nobody attacking the ball, and the ball just drifts away beyond that back post. And that's kind of the feature of the game at the moment. It just looks as if Celtic desperate to get a second goal, but not really doing enough for me to deserve it. While St Mirren just trying to settle down and make sure that they get to half time, and they're still 1-0 down. And hope that the second half they can maybe get something out of the game.
Celtic have it with Oxlade-Chamberlain back to Scales, and then squares it to Trusty, who flicks it out to Ralston on this near side. Down the line for Nygren, and back to Ralston. He goes back to Austin Trusty.
Yeah, Ralston's getting the ball on his right side, and he's looking, and then the run from Sivanchara is so easy to match. Alex Gogic is just tracking him, and then Ralston hesitates, and then he knocks the ball back again to Trusty, and the energy has gone out of the game.
One ball forward, Tranchara can't get onto it. It's cleared by Donnelly. Out on this near side, Freckleton rolls it in field to Donnelly, and then the first time ball low out to John on the near side. Long looking for Ayunga. Is he on or off? Flag stays down for now. Jonah Ayunga down the left, faced by Trusty. Looking to get to the byline. Plays it off Trusty, gets it back. It's the break of the ball. There's Ayunga. Back to about level with the 18-yard line. Then with Davani. Drifts the ball, looking for Mandron. Mandron got it on the chest, but Tierney recovers to hack it behind. for a St Mirren corner. Celtic 1, Saints 0. Final minute of the opening 45. There will be a good few added on because of the injury to Shamal George. But that looked as though Mandron was going to be able to get a shot away there. Tierney reacted well in the end.
Yeah, he just peeled off to the back post where he knows that obviously Tierney will be a bit vulnerable in the air. He didn't have to head the ball. It came onto his chest. Tierney hesitated, and you're right, and then he just recovered to give away the corner. But this is a chance now for St Mirren. They've got big players in this team. 2 up top, centre halves going up.
6 added. 6 minutes. We're into the first of them. In comes the Saints corner. It's flicked away. Mandron leaping high. Couldn't get there though, and Yang's onto it for Celtic on this near side. Well, Martin O'Neill's been very pleased with Yang's performances recently, and it's going to be a Celtic ball.
Yeah, he's right to be pleased because I think he's responded really, really well to Martin. I think he did in the first spell he was in. He played over on the left-hand side a little bit more, but he's playing down on the right-hand side I think for most of this period when Martin's in, and I think he does quite well, and he's getting goals also, which is important. So his confidence seems to be high.
Scored his 9th of the season last week. The Yang. And the opener at Dens. Long ball Celtic up to Chwanchara, holding off Gogic. He's done well this time. Lays it off to Nygren, driving down the right side. Freckleton trying to get back at him. It is the Swede though, dancing along to the edge of the D. Plays it low to Tierney. Tierney looking to lay it forward, left side of the box for Maida. Maida's onto it, under pressure from Donnelly, goes back to Tierney. And the momentum again from that Celtic attack is gone. It's been an issue all season. That's something they'll be desperate to sort out. Now it's with Ralston. Out to Yang on this near side. It's decision making, isn't it, in the final third? Normally they're so potent. I mentioned earlier they had 3 players over 20 goals last season. Maida was over 30.
Yeah, I think also the movement off the ball when somebody has it, they're kind of a little bit stationary, and they're obviously, that movement is critical, that you give options, and if somebody moves out, somebody else steps into the space.
Tierney over on the left in field to Scales. Scales side foot, low ball to Maida on the halfway line, over on the Celtic left, back to Tierney. We played 2 of the 6 minutes that were added on by Duncan Nicholson, the referee. He's a towering figure in there, the Invernessian in charge of proceedings this afternoon. Goes back trusty to Sinisalo and then to Scales on that left hand side. It's a long ball into the St Mirren half. Chwanchara is after it. Gogic is there too, and Gogic does brilliantly once more. An outstanding player he's been for St Mirren over his years in Paisley.
Yeah, he's quite happy to almost mark man for man up against Chwanchara.
A little dink for Maida. Gogic should be able to see it behind for the goal kick, and does. And it stays Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. They could be doing with the second goal, Celtic, couldn't they? Because Saints, whilst they haven't really threatened terribly often, they've had a couple of little spells. They're more than capable of making life difficult for the Celtic side, as this Celtic side know only too well. 2 narrow 1-0 wins, thanks to 2 very, very late goals in the 2 previous league meetings this season. And even on Trophy Day here last term, it looked like St Mirren were going to win the match 1-0 before James Forrest came up with a late equaliser. And then obviously, most notably, that League Cup final in December.
It's almost like a cardboard copy of what I've witnessed and lots of games this year from Celtic. They're doing just about enough to be in the lead, but not enough to go and kill teams off, and just the rhythm isn't quite there, which we've witnessed in the past.
It is Gogic rolling it low out to O'Hara wide on the right. Long ball looking to get Ayunga in behind, comes off Tierney's head, breaks back the way to Campbell, flicks it, still in the box. It's Ayunga, his effort across is deflected behind for a St Mirren corner. Celtic 1-0 up, but St Mirren are finishing the first half strongly here. Yeah,
getting those set pieces, and that's where they've always got an opportunity when it comes to set pieces, especially corners. Just putting that ball into the right area and getting one of those big guys, Freckleton, Gogic. He also was good enough in the air. Donnelly, and then Ayunga and Mandron. Lots of opportunity to get somebody on the end of a good cross.
Devaney over the corner and swinging with the left foot coming up. It's half time at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 1. In comes the St Mirren corner. There's a header onto the roof of the net. It was Donnelly, but it's over the bar and it stays 1-0 to Celtic. But just a little nervy moment there for the home team.
Yeah, just couldn't get the ball down. He's almost gone up among it and got his head to it, but just couldn't direct it down. Even if he got a less of a flick on it, it might have just dropped into the goal. The goalkeeper was committed also.
Long ball, Ralston. Tvanchara is the chasing player. Gogic gets there first though, dinks it down the line, but it breaks to Yang. Yang got it through here to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Maida's waiting in the middle all alone, but the ball across is too high for him as Oxlade-Chamberlain looped it back across the St Mirren goal. And Saints mop up, and it's O'Hara forward to Phillips, who we barely mentioned in the match actually, Killian Phillips. St Mirren pushing the ball about pretty nicely inside their own box under pressure, but it's given away by Declan John straight to McGregor. Here's Yang on this near side, goes back to Ralston. We're in the final minute of the stoppages.
Yeah, that was the pass of the game, I think, from Yang there. He's just opened up his body and seen Oxlade-Chamberlain making a good run forward and picks him out. Unfortunate for Oxlade-Chamberlain, he couldn't replicate that when it came to the cross.
Oxlade-Chamberlain finds Ralston, last chance in the first half of this. Final few seconds, Yang wide right of the St Mirren box, gets the low ball across. Tvanchara with his back to goal, knocks it back towards Oxlade-Chamberlain, who was under serious pressure from Devaney, who can clear. Just doesn't look confident, Tvanchara, as the referee blows his whistle. Not sure what it's for, though. Is it half time? Yes, it is. Craig McLeish down there with his arms outstretched, asking why that move for Saints wasn't allowed to continue, but it is the half-time interval here at Celtic Park, and the champions do have the lead, given to them by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Second goal for the club, side footing into the bottom right corner after 16 minutes. Could be a massive one from the experienced former England international, and it's given Celtic the lead here, a lead they were so desperate for. And it is half-time at Tynecastle, goalless between Hearts and Motherwell. So at the moment, it is a set of circumstances that Celtic would have signed up for before a ball was kicked this afternoon. Still a long way to go, but at half-time in Glasgow's East End, it is Celtic 1, St Mirren 0.
This is Sports Sound.
What a goal!
Live football commentary online at BBC Sports Scotland.
The Scottish Cup.
Sensation in the kingdom!
Sports Sound brings you coverage of the semi-finals live from Hampden. Dunfermline versus Falkirk next Saturday and Celtic against St Mirren next Sunday.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, looking forward to next weekend. Scottish Cup semi-finals taking centre stage. And centre stage today has to be the league leaders Hearts against fourth placed Motherwell at Tynecastle, and on commentary duties there and can bring us a half-time report, Ryan Stevenson and Rob McLean.
Thanks all. Hearts looking to extend their unbeaten Tynecastle run all season long. 19 games, 14 wins and 5 draws, but another draw wouldn't be good enough for them today. They need to be winning this one. They need to be coming out of this weekend and going into the split still at the top of the Premiership. They've put plenty into this, you would have to say, so far. Motherwell started the first half really well, finished the first 45 impressively too. They've created good things, and Schwolo had a brilliant save to deny Ibrahim Saeed, set up by Maswanise 25 yards out. It was an arrow of a shot, and it was a top save by the German goalkeeper to stop him ripping up the Hearts script. Down at the other end, another top save from Callum Ward in the Motherwell goal. It was an Oisin McEntee header, and it was a really sharp reaction stop by the goalkeeper, who's offered up just about everything he has in his repertoire in the first half, insisting on playing the ball out in really tight situations. He's got himself in a major fankle more than once, but encouraged to do so by his manager. They keep on doing it, Motherwell. They've played some really impressive stuff and he had that big save, Ryan, to help keep this game goalless.
Yeah, it was a great save. It's actually been a really good game, I think. As I said during the commentary there, it's two teams with two different complete styles of play. Motherwell, we know, want to play out from the back, and they make loads of little passes, and then they try and exploit it on the opposite side, and they've had a couple of chances. And then Hearts have been aggressive when they've had to be. They've been really good on set plays, and that big chance for McAtee, I think a yard either side and it's a goal, but it was a great save. But I've enjoyed the game. It's two good teams playing against each other. I think from Hearts' point of view, Hearts need to try and get Longchamp in the game just a little bit more. Claudio Braga is working so hard up top, but can they get Lawrence on the ball a bit more and try and create something, or even him just trying to get a shot at goal and try and get a lift on things. I think Motherwell will be pretty happy with their away performance. And they'll just keep trying to go on into the second half and affect the game.
Yeah, the other really close thing first half was Blair Spittle. It was a well-worked free kick by Hearts, and it ended up with a curling right footer from Spittle, which had some Hearts fans in some parts of the stadium thinking it had gone in because the net did rustle, but it had gone narrowly wide of target. Derek McInnes said pre-match he would settle for any sort of win, even if it was a fourth home 1-0 victory on the trot, a fifth indeed, because they've had 4 in a row already, and it does have the look about it, this game, that one goal might be enough, Al, to sort it out. It's 0-0 at half-time.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, it certainly doesn't look like there's going to be a repeat of the 3-3 earlier in the season, that's for sure. And our other commentary game this afternoon has come from Celtic Park. That's live online if you want to listen to that in the second half. And I think we have been rejoined by our commentary team there, Packy Bonner and Liam McLeod.
Hello, yes, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's goal separating these two is second for the club, came on 16 minutes after a McGregor shot was deflected towards him, broke to him, and he side-footed it home into the bottom right corner. Clever finish from the former England international, and at that point it came at a good time actually, because St Mirren had weathered an early storm and were pressing themselves with Mandron and Ayunga a threat every now and again, and Tefani looking good in midfield, as the workhorse Alan Campbell. That's the only goal. Oxlade-Chamberlain did have the ball in the net earlier but was ruled offside. Nygren with a shot which tested St Mirren sub-goalie Ryan Mullen, who came on for the injured Shamal George, who picked up a facial injury after a clash with Thomas Tvanchara after wonderful play by Dyson Maida down the left. As he played it across, the boot met face, and George, after lengthy treatment, succumbed, went off. Mullen came on. But St Mirren, just before the break there, and been the odd reminder that they're very much in this game, the side who beat Celtic in December's League Cup final, and from a Devaney corner in 6 minutes of stoppage time found the head of Liam Donnelly, but he could only clip the roof of the net. Over the bar it went. But again, it was just a reminder, Pat Bonner, for Celtic that sometimes one goal isn't enough, and they very nearly paid the price as recently as 6 days ago in Dundee.
Yes, listen, it's been a replica of what we've witnessed for most of the season. You know, Celtic maybe getting that early goal, struggling to build on it, and then of course we know what can happen in the second half, and there's always chances when you look at St Mirren, when they get into the opposing final third, the attacking third. They've got the big guys up front, and they do look a bit of a threat, and especially with set pieces. So this game is not over by any means, and Celtic desperate to get a second goal to finish it off. St Mirren is always in it.
They'll be hoping that Motherwell hold on to take at least a point from Tynecastle. Results elsewhere for St Mirren not going their way, and you're about to get to that, so I won't spoil the surprise for anyone who might be not wanting to know what the scores are in those ones. But suffice to say, it's not been a great day for St Mirren so far, though they're still in the game. Half-time here, Celtic 1, St Mirren 0.
Yeah, thanks, Liam. I'm sure there's lots of people tuned in who have been waiting to hear the half-time scores without wondering how the goals have been going in as they happen. So let's get to Pittodrie to find out what's been going on in the first half there between Aberdeen and Hibernian. And Tony Docherty.
Yeah, 1-0 at the break for Aberdeen, and a game that, you know, Aberdeen came out really dominant, I think, and in the first 10-15 minutes they were the dominant team. A real tactic they had was spinning the ball in behind Iredale, the left hand side of that back three of Hibs, and they were getting joy with that. But a pivotal moment came in the match in the 16th minute when it was a straight ball, more of a straight ball over the top, and this time it was Hanley, but again using all of Sanya's pace to get in behind. He gets into the penalty box, Grant Hanley upends him, and it gets decided after a VAR check that it's a red card and a penalty that Kevin Nisbet dispatches into the left bottom hand corner. And really from then on I thought Aberdeen controlled the game. You know, they had real control in the middle of the pitch. They created two really good chances, one a Kevin Nisbet header the goalkeeper saves from a Lyle Cameron cross, and one from a Gyamfi cross. Jensen should score 6 yards out, and really it's been difficult since they went down to 10 men for Hibs. You know, they've went to a 4-2-3 formation, and they're asking for quite a lot from the front players. McGrath playing off the left, Elding playing off the right, and Scarlett through the middle, and you know, they've not really threatened the goal at all. But a really pivotal moment came just at half time there when there was a potential sending off for Gyamfi. The referee David Dixon went over to the VAR for a check, and he was sent off for violent conduct. But when he went over, he thought it didn't meet, I understand it didn't meet the threshold, and instead the result was it was downgraded for reckless action, and the award was a yellow card. So loads going on up here at Pittodrie, but at the moment it's 1-0 to Aberdeen.
Yeah, thanks Tony. To Rugby Park then, another massive game, and Kilmarnock up against Dundee. Derek Ferguson's watching that one.
Certainly is, Al, and I've got to say, I've got to tip my cap with both sides producing that right good game so far, considering the overhead conditions and the horrible surface, I've got to say, Al. But at the moment it's Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 1. Kelly started on the front foot, took the game to Dundee, and deservedly took the lead in 14 minutes. It was Anderson with a powerful strike, but it was blocked, the ball popping up, and there it fell to Joe Ugle about 12 yards out to thump home on the volley. The response from Dundee, well, that came in the 24th minute. Yogan down the left hand side producing a wonderful cross, and there was captain Simon Murray at the back post area to nod home from about 5 yards out the game. It was going from end to end, but it was Kelly getting themselves in front again. It was Larson, edge of the box, the fullback, a powerful strike, giving the keeper absolutely no chance. That goal coming in 33 minutes. So more of the same. And at the second half, Al, it remains Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 1.
Thanks, Derek. Dundee United leading by a goal to nil at half time against Livingston. Unfortunately, Chick's technical problems are continuing to plague him at the moment. We'll hopefully hear from him again in the second half, but Will Ferry's second goal of the season has them in front against Livy. Into the championship then, the league leaders St Johnstone at home to Airdrie. Chris Dillon's there for us.
And it's St Johnstone 3, Airdrie 0. And the first half, Al, it was a real statement of intent from St Johnstone. They look like a championship winning side, a side that sense that the championship title's not far away. And after 15 minutes, Rudy Payton got them on their way from a terrific free kick after Jamie Gullen was filled about 20-25 yards from goal, and he bent it perfectly into the top corner. The only real sight of goal for Airdrie after 17 minutes was Chris Mockery. It was cut across, but Toby Stewart dived at his feet and gathered that up. But apart from that, Airdrie haven't threatened at all, and it could and should be more for St Johnstone. There was chances for McPake, Liam Smith, everybody getting in the box. They were just missing that final touch, and they got the second. And Morgan Boys, 34 minutes, he get round the back from a second phase of a corner, header back into the top corner to make it 2-0, and then a minute later Rudy Payton get his second of the day after he smashed home from 6 yards. A good bit of work from Jamie Gullen was cut across, and they could have taken their pick of who knocked it in, but it was that man Rudy Payton who's now looking for a hat-trick. And into the second half, it's St Johnstone 3, Airdrie 0.
Thanks, Chris. Rudy Payton proving himself to be a really good signing for the Saints in the January window. To Firhill then, where Partick Thistle are trying to keep the pressure on St Johnstone as best they can. They're at home to Dunfermline. Ian McCall's there.
Yeah, and they've been dominant. The second half has actually started as I speak. First half, they were well worth their 2-goal lead. Dunfermline back three look, the changes they've made, they look all over the place. The first goal, Ben Stanley had a shot blocked. It fell to Alex Samuel at the edge of the box. He had so much to do. Took a great first touch and then struck it really, really cleanly into the bottom corner from about 20 yards. 5 minutes later, 22 minutes, Aidan Fitzpatrick pace again caused problems down the right hand side of the Dunfermline defence, and he's outpaced him and just a little cut back. Alex Samuel's there, just a good striker, and taps it into an empty net. I mean, Dunfermline have had their moments going forward. The best one was Matty Torrey, did really well down the left channel. Cross come shot, Cooper was just about an inch from it at the back post, but it remained at half time Partick Thistle 2, Dunfermline 0.
Thanks for that, Ian. Elsewhere in the Championship, Ayr United 0, Arbroath 0 and Wraith Rovers 0. Greenup Morton 1, Cameron Blues with a goal there. In League 1, it's East Fife 1, Peterhead 0. The other 3 games, Hamilton Accies, Alaba, Kelty, Montrose and Queen of the South Cove, are all goalless, all into the early stages of the second half. Stennismuir against Inverness Kelly Thistle, first against second. It's a 5:30 kick-off and it's live on BBC Alapa. Quickly, the League 2 half-time scores: Dumbarton 1, Stirling Albion 0, Edinburgh City 0, Clyde 1. They're almost certainly going to be consigned to 10th place. Edinburgh, Elgin City 0, Annan 1, Forfar 1, East Kilbride 0 and Spartans 1, Stranraer 1. The teams are beginning to re-emerge around the top flight grounds. Indeed, Kilmarnock and Dundee have already kicked off in the second half. Remember, we've got a choice of listening again for you in the second period. Stick with us on BBC Sounds or 92 to 95 FM for open all mics. Full second half commentary of Hearts Motherwell is on BBC Radio Scotland Extra or digital or 810 medium wave, and Celtic St Mirren continues online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland, where you can find all the options.
Football. This is Sports Sound.
What a goal!
Live football commentary online at BBC Sports Scotland.
Welcome back from Celtic Park. Liam McLeod and Paddy Bonner with you as the Celtic players make their way back out. The Saints 11 have been out for a couple of minutes now as they try and get themselves back into the equation here. 1-0 down at the interval. No changes for them, though they did have to change their goalkeeper in that first half with Mullen replacing George. Celtic look as though they're going to throw out the same 11 as well as started the match. What is the 4th meeting between them this season, a 5th to come next Sunday when they meet in the Scottish Cup semis. This is the first meeting since the League Cup final in December, which St Mirren won. Celtic needed late McCowan and McGregor goals to win the 2 league games between them this season. So Sinisalo in goal for the home team. Ralston, Trusty, Scales, Tierney, Meagher, McGregor, Oxley, Chamberlain, Yang and Maida with Kajara. Saints with Mullen in goal, Donnelly, Gogic, Freckleton, Campbell, O'Hara, Phillips, Devani, John, Mandron and Ayunga. And it's going to be Celtic to kick off the second half in the green and white hoops. St Mirren in the all-purple with white flashes as it's played back to Ralston, who finds Trusty, who squares it out to this left side for Kieran Tierney. A huge 45 minutes here, not just here though, of course, loads happening across the country. Most notably in the top flight as Yang picks up right hand side of the box, comes back towards Oxley Chamberlain, but it's dumped away by Campbell, chested down by Ayunga for Mandron. Midway inside his own half here, he gets there ahead of Maida. Infield to Devani, out to O'Hara, goes back to Donnelly, and then with Mullen the goalkeeper in a 6-yard line, rolls it forward to Campbell, and he plays it out to Freckleton on the left hand side. Blue skies above here now at Celtic Park, still quite cloudy, quite breezy. The pitch was well watered before the game as well. And what kind of second half are we going to see here? How the Celtic fans, how Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney would love their team to score a second any time soon, Pat Bonner.
Yes, that's exactly what they would love, but they've got to make it happen. You know, they have the bench to look to probably in this game also. Yeah, just a ball played over the top there, trying to get Maeda in. The one just takes it away from him, and there was an easy pick up for the goalkeeper. St Mirren just playing their way through the thirds of the pitch.
Here's Mandron for Saints down the right side. Support from O'Hara on the overlap. Doesn't need him, pokes it back to Devani. Collects level with the edge of the D. Out wide right now it is with O'Hara. It's not a great cross though, and he's annoyed with himself, but it's still in play. Came high across the face of the goal, comes out to the left side. Declan John keeps it alive, and then it's pushed back to Campbell now with Devani, who plays it out to O'Hara. And in field to Devani for Mandron, to Devani again. Back to Donnelly.
Yeah, they were in a great position there with O'Hara on this right hand side. And so like him, he's a good quality striker of the ball, but he puts it in far, far too high and long for anybody to get on the end of it.
There's Callum McGregor over on the far side, rolling it back the way to Sinisalo. Plays it short to Scales as Livingston equalise at Tannadice. It's a Lewis Smith goal. He's scored a few in recent weeks, including last week against Hearts, including against Rangers as well. So Dundee United 1, Livingston 1. Chantara was down, fouled by Goggett, says the referee, who is Duncan Nicholson. That will be a free kick to Celtic just before the midway point of the St Mirren half, right of centre.
Yeah, I look at Finchara. He almost comes to the ball, and that's what he probably likes doing. But I don't know if he's got the strength actually in his body to sort of hold defenders off and let the ball stick to him.
Long ball up to Mandron, who goes down under the challenge of Scales. It wasn't a foul according to the referee though. It comes all the way back to Sinisalo, who plays it to Ralston. Side football to Nygren, and then back to Anthony Ralston again for Nygren on the touchline. And as he plays it to Trusty, Trusty stepping away from his man, but the referee stops play for, I think, a foul there on Ralston over on the far side. So it's going to be a Celtic free kick. Celtic leading St Mirren by a 1-0 here.
Yeah, stop and start game again, and you know, the referee there could have just let that play go on. There wasn't much on Ralston. He just got to go into a tackle, but the game just stopped again, and that's what obviously St Mirren are quite happy with that at the moment.
Motherwell have taken the lead at Tynecastle.
Wow.
Against Hearts. Emmanuel Longolo with the goal. Hearts 0, Motherwell 1. Hearts unbeaten in 90 minutes at Tynecastle since the end of last April. Almost a full 12 months have gone by. They lost in the Scottish Cup on Scottish Cup on penalties to Falkirk. But Emmanuel Longolo has given Motherwell the lead against the league leaders. And as it stands, Celtic are 3 goals away from going top of the table. It's a 3-goal swing as Maida's fouled there by O'Hara. Free kick Celtic, and it's in an attacking position. Might actually have been Donnelly who committed that. Anyway, it's a Celtic free kick up the park.
Yeah, you know, it's a free kick again, but the referee was so quick to blow his whistle. The ball sort of breaks to Oxlade-Chamberlain and then inside the box, and he just could have let it flow a little bit and then bring it back. But he was quick to blow his whistle and give Celtic the free kick.
There's a few standing over this. Longolo actually scored at Tynecastle earlier this season as well. He put Motherwell 3-0 up on that occasion. Hearts came roaring back to take a point from that game.
I don't know if that sort of information's got around the stadium yet, but it hasn't been a big reaction. I thought there might have been a bigger reaction when that happened.
Probably what could be described as a hubbub after that, as Nygren takes the free kick, clips it in with the left foot, and then arriving at the back post was Yang, but he couldn't get on top of the ball as he tried to get his head onto it. It sails all the way out for a throw-in on the far side. Celtic 1, St Mirren 0 in the 51st minute of the game, but just a reminder that it is Hearts 0, Motherwell 1. So pivotal times, Pat.
Yeah, bit to go yet, but my prediction before this game was that the 3 teams at the top would have won their games. Maybe I could be wrong, and Michael could be right.
Well, I know what Michael said. Michael was repeating the fact that only once this season have the top 3 all won on the same weekend, which is pretty incredible, really, when you think about it. Just once in the 32 previous match days. 2-1 Livingston. 30 games without a win in the league, and Lewis Smith's got his second. Dundee United 1, Livingston 2. Here's Phillips for Saints looking to get Ayunga, and he wasn't far off finding him either, though the flag has gone up.
Yeah, it was
free
good.
Kick Celtic, 1-0 Celtic on 51, almost 52.
Yeah, really good approach play there from Celtic. A lovely ball from Devaney up to Mandarin initially, and they just linked the play up, and the ball in was a decent ball. Just Alunga had just straight it half yard offside.
Scales for Celtic finds Austin Trusty at close quarters, and then out to Ralston on the far side. His ball down the line finds Yang. stabs it back to Nygren, shuffles away from Campbell and rolls it back down the line to Ralston, and then back to Trustees. The wind gets up again here at Celtic Park, blowing all kinds of litter around the playing surface right now.
Yeah, it's got even stronger, hasn't it, the wind?
Yeah, no let up. And Ralston gets it from Trusty down the right side. Celtic haven't been top of the league since the middle of September, and as I said, there was a 5-goal difference between the two teams, 3 points as well. As it stands, Celtic are going level in points with Hearts, but they're still 3 goals worse off in goal difference. If they can overhaul the 3 on goals scored, they would go top tonight. As I said, long way to go, but Ralston flights the ball into the St Mirren box from the right to the left. It's headed away between a combination of Devaney and O'Hara. Maida goes down, no free kick. Devaney up the line for Mandron, holding off Scales well and rolling it back to Devaney and in field to Campbell.
Yeah, that's the difference that I see between Mandron, for example, and Shivanchara. He's a little bit stronger body, you know, physically stronger, and he can stand up to the centre halves and hold the ball up.
So the Premiership, Aberdeen 1, 10-man Hibs 0, Celtic 1 up here against Saints, Dundee United 1, Livingston 2, Hearts 0, Motherwell 1, and Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 1. As it stands, Falkirk Rangers to come tomorrow. Anthony Ralston with a long ball down the right side, catches in the wind, just drifts out for a St Mirren throw-in over on the far side. We play almost 54 minutes.
Yeah, the one seems to be coming from left to right as we sit here in the main stand, and it's quite strong, and the one just caught that one and took it out for a throw-in.
Big test of Hearts metal now, isn't it? I know it's not the game we're watching, Pat, and we don't know how that game's going to go and how it's going right now. We do know Motherwell are 1-0 up, but major test. Champions overcome those kind of tests, don't they? Mandron finds Phillips, rolls it out to O'Hara. I'll get back to that in a minute. As O'Hara squares it back in field to Devaney, and out to Phillips. And no pressure on him. The Celtic fans quick to point that out to their players. So O'Hara on the touchline, back to Phillips, squares it in field to Donnelly. It's a spare man again. Then out to Campbell on the left. And then onto the touchline for Declan John. I still feel there's a fragility about Celtic right now.
Yeah, you know, you don't see this too often, that St Mirren's pinning them back on the edge of their own 18-yard box.
Yeah, that's through to Donnelly, who unfortunately, as he tried to control, slipped. And that allows Celtic to clear. Yeah,
and when they have that control, that allows the likes of Donnelly, who's been playing as one of the 3 centre backs, to get almost up, almost on the edge of Celtic's 18-yard box, which is incredible. It was a good ball.
Yeah, Ayunga chasing it. Scales gets there first though, and he's dealt with it pretty calmly as he steps out of the box, out to this near side, and clips it forward up towards Twanchara. Little flick in field looking for Donnelly, goes straight to Freckleton. I was talking about the test of Hearts metal, Pat.
Yes, I agree with you. Listen, I said it before the game, this is about mentality as much as anything else. Tactics and, you know, all of that, and luck comes into it. But if you can get the mentality right and you stick in, and resilience, when you do go a goal behind, you've got to pull it out of the fire somehow, and that's going to be the test for Hearts.
Saints have it wide on the left with John, goes back into his own half for Freckleton, and now it's with Gogic. Squares it to the right there for Donnelly. We'll be seeing Kelechi and Acho shortly. Stevani forward to Phillips, and then back to Donnelly. Clearly can't complete 90 minutes.
Yeah, you know, obviously St Mirren is just, you know, they're the team in possession, and they're just pinning Celtic back, and Celtic hoping maybe that they might get them on the counter-attack, but this is not what I see from a Celtic
It's a good
team.
spell for Saints though. It was a lovely ball. O'Hara to the back post, headed back across by Mandron, blocked and behind for a St Mirren corner. Good few minutes this for the visitors as they try and find an equaliser. We played 56 and a half. Celtic 1, Saints 0. Saints though with the corner.
Yeah, and at that position again that Mandron picks up away at the back post, and the ball's flighted to him, and he knows he's got the aerial power on any of the full backs, but he just wasn't able to get a ball back across the goal, and it comes off. I think it might have been Tierney for the corner, but again, pressure on here, Celtic.
O'Hara will take it over on the Saints left as they attack the goal to the right. It's a good ball in, but it's a good header clear by Trusty. Read the danger and heads it away. No out ball for Celtic though, so Campbell back out to O'Hara. Another chance to cross, a good one. Gogic heads over, flags up anyway, and stays Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. But a pretty uncomfortable few minutes for Martin O'Neill down there.
Yeah, you can see the crowd reacting to that also. But he has to go to the bench. He's got to bring on some reinforcements because they're not able to get control of this game at this moment in time.
Short ball, Sinisalo to Trusty and out to Ralston on the right side. Rolls it back to Trusty. In turn goes back to his goalkeeper. Sinisalo with a nice little clip out to the left side of his box for Scales over the head of Ayunga, but Scales can't find Tierney. It's out for a throw into St Mirren. You can hear the Celtic fans around about us.
Yeah,
they know how high the stakes are right now.
Absolutely, they're giving stick to Scales there. The ball's played out to him. It's high up in the air, and the only thing he could do was try to clip it out onto his left-hand side and knocks it out for a throw. And the ball should have been played higher up the pitch. And that's where Shimichara needs to be the target man. He needs to be the one that is the pivot up there that can get on the ball and hold it up and bring his team high up the pitch.
So Aberdeen 1, Hibs 0. Dundee United 1, Livingston 2. Hearts 0, Motherwell 1. Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 1. 1-0 Celtic here. In the Championship, goalless Ayr United, Arbroath, Partick Thistle 2, Dunfermline 0, Wraith Rovers 1, Morton 1. St Johnstone 3, Airdrieonians 0. Here comes St Mirren again with Phillips.
Yeah, they're just playing through Celtic now. Obviously Shimichara's dropped back. He's there's nobody putting pressure on the ball. They're able to pick their passes in midfield, which they're doing very, very well.
Yeah, and Devaney's flighted it out to O'Hara, level with the Celtic 18-yard line on the right. Back to Phillips first time. Forward to Campbell. Oxlade-Chamberlain's put it behind for the corner. Well, there's obviously some miscommunication going on at the back for Celtic, because Oxlade-Chamberlain was in two minds there, and eventually he's tapped it behind for what could be a really costly St Mirren corner.
Yeah, he's just got to clear his lines. He's waiting for the goalkeeper to come. The one is obviously creating a few issues, but he's just got to create or clear his lines, but he knocks it out for a corner, and this is danger. The ball will be swung in here.
I'll run you through Leagues 1 and 2 shortly. It's going to be a St Mirren corner though, right in front of their fans who are off to the right. Declan John with it, left-footed, in it comes. The goalkeeper was caught between a group of players, and it's headed behind over his own crossbar, I think by Scales. And that's going to be another Saints corner on this near side. It's been all St Mirren the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it has, and that's not what Celtic fans here in Celtic Park will put up with. If they lose a goal, you will hear the reaction.
1-1 at Tynecastle, Hearts level as Declan John takes the corner, flicked away, only half clear though. Devaney picks up at the edge of the box. He's managed to work it out to Declan John. He's in loads of space inside the penalty area. He's on his left side now. He shoots, it's deflected, breaks back out to him on this near side. Can St Mirren take advantage of their dominance? Swept in by O'Hara, headed behind for another corner by Ralston. The pressure continues. Claudio Braga with the goal for Hearts. Hearts 1, Motherwell 1 at Tynecastle.
Yeah, they've got themselves back into it, and it's now the Celtics that's under pressure, desperate to keep this goal intact, and the pressure. That's 3 corners in a row now, and the ball's going to be swung right in the air again.
Another O'Hara delivery, in swinger with the right foot from the Saints left in front of the north east corner of the stadium, and it comes on top of the goalkeeper, and he got something onto that. It's going to break Mandron's way though. Celtic are all over the place right now. It's played into Devaney, right hand side of the box, across it comes. Sinisalo beats it away. Nygren helps it on its way, as does Maida, as Yang takes a touch on the far side and is brought crashing to the ground by O'Hara, who's injured himself in the process, and Celtic have a free kick. And there will be a double change coming up for Celtic here, and Arne Engels will return after injury, and Kalechi and Ancho is going to come on for Tvanchara as well. League 1, East Fife 1, Peterhead 1, Hamilton 1, Alloa 0, Kelty 1, Montrose 1, Queen of the South 1, Cove Rangers 0. It looks as though the other player to come off for Celtic will be Mirren. As we go to League 2, Dumbarton 1, Stirling Albion 1, Edinburgh City 0, Clyde 2, Elgin 0, Annan 1, Forfar 1, East Kilbride 0, Spartans 1, Stranraer 1. But Celtic's top scorer, who's good for a goal, is off.
I'm surprised at that, I'll be honest with you. Even though maybe they're looking at it, can he hold on to this game? So they have to defend as a group at the moment, and that's what they've been doing for the last 10 minutes. Maybe Mirren is not as effective when he has to do that job. Maybe that's what they're looking at, but certainly he's the one that could get them that second goal. But I'm not surprised as if Inchara's gone off and Iheanacho has come on.
First time we've seen Engel since the 11th of February when he came off during the first half of their eventual win over Livingston here. And it will be Ralston for Celtic on the far side. So Hearts are level against Motherwell. And it's been a really jittery Celtic performance since probably about the 50-minute mark. We've hit 63, Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. They haven't conceded in that time, and clean sheets have been like hen's teeth for Celtic recently. Here's Maida, lovely pick up there by Maida, good control, but he can't find Tierney on the underlap inside the box, and it comes right through to Ryan Mullen. There's a goalkeeper making just his third appearance of the season, and Celtic, I think Mirren had a shot at it. Shot at him not long after he came on. He held on to it comfortably. He's not really been tested since.
No, and I was surprised at that last situation there where Maida gets the ball and here's a chance for St Mirren.
Yeah, and it's Ayunga driving down the left side, man drawn galloping into the box. It's Ayunga faced by Ralston, pulls it back the edge of the box for Devaney, just had it taken away from him by Engels. He's just on, flag's gone up anyway, so it will be a free kick to Celtic. But my goodness, they're almost encouraging St Mirren back into this game and on top of them.
Yeah, listen, that's a late flag, isn't it? I want to see that flag going up a lot earlier. It takes away all the issues because Devaney there got himself into a great position. I thought he's got to strike it first time. He just takes a touch and allows himself to be closed down. But again, St Mirren the threat. And again, Celtic playing the ball out here and giving the possession back to St Mirren. I was going to pick up on the one where Maeda had a great opportunity to just play the ball into Tierney's path. Tierney made the wrong run. He ran forward instead of just checking out, and the space was there, and the chance was gone for Celtic.
St Mirren free kick, midway point of their own half, centre point of the pitch, out to the left for Declan John, and then in field to Campbell, who finds Freckleton, who squares it to Gogic. 1-0 Celtic, bang on 65 minutes. Freckleton rolls it with a left foot out to John on the touchline on the far side. Forward it comes here to Devaney. He's done well to squirrel it back out to the left for John. Now it's with Freckleton. The ref spots a foul on Trusty though by Ayunga off the ball, and that will be a Celtic free kick.
Yeah, silly foul, wasn't it? When you consider that they had done so well to play through Celtic's midfield there. Young Devaney seems to be coming onto a game at the moment. He's the one that's getting on the ball and hitting those passes. A chance.
Yeah, Iheanacho. Gogic slips, no foul for now, but he runs into Donnelly, does brilliantly to block Iheanacho, and it breaks back to Mullen.
Iheanacho using his strength, didn't he? And up against Gogic, and that's what was missing probably for most of the game. But when he did win it, then he kind of lost his bearings, and the opportunity was gone. But I also think that he's almost running around a little bit more than Inchara was doing, and trying to put a bit of pressure on the centre halves and even the goalkeeper.
Well, St Mirren's recent wins against Falkirk and Aberdeen came after a run of 6 without in the league and 1 out of the previous 14 in the Premiership, but they've looked decent under Craig McLeish, and they've given Celtic plenty to think about today, and I'm sure they will do so again in next week's semi-final. Could still get something out of this, of course. Just over a quarter of the game left, but Iheanacho's been fouled by Gogic to it level with the 18-yard line, left-hand side of it. Yes. Celtic it's a rare attack really for them.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for them, but again, Iheanacho showing his strength, and that is a different proposition now for Gogic. You know, when the ball is played down the side of him, he's got a player now who can hold him off and just bring other players into the game.
Tierney and Engels over this, though Tierney's leaving the scene. 2 months out, Engels back on set piece duty. Well, that's what he's got. He's got the quality, hasn't he? And I think that was also missing maybe from the team. Whether he can do it in this moment or not, we'll see. Well, let's find out. In with the right foot, Engels is a decent ball in as well. It's a good header away by Miguel Freckleton. Breaks to McGregor at the right angle of the box. He finds Yang level with the 6-yard line, getting to the byline. Freckleton putting the pressure on. Still it's with Yang. Rolls it back to McGregor. McGregor then square to Oxlade-Chamberlain, whose goal at the moment separates the teams. It is out with Trusty on the near side, goes back to Tierney. St Mirren trying to push up here as Tierney finds Oxlade-Chamberlain in the centre circle. Toes it to his right for Ralston, and then out to the right side. Engels looks up, right foot, long ball. Should be the goalkeepers, and is Mullins. And it stays Celtic 1, St Mirren 0 here.
Yeah, it wasn't a great cross. It was a loopy ball up into the air. Give Ryan Mullen all the opportunity to come away off his line and pick the ball up almost 16 yards from his goal.
O'Hara for Saints, back towards his own box there. Gogic, and then to Donnelly, gets it clear up the right touchline there for Ayunga, holds it off, and then Campbell gets away with it as he turns away from Yang. He lost that. Yang could have been in. Here's Freckleton for St Mirren. Down the left-hand side they come with Declan John. Johnton to the left side of the Celtic box for Phillips. Back to Freckleton. Infield for Devani. Square for Donnelly. Mandron is waiting in the middle as Ayunga picks up wide in the right. Maida did a brilliant defensive job there, though, to win it back off Ayunga. And then chips it forward towards Iheanacho, who controls. Fouled by Gogic. Free kick Celtic on this near side touchline. Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. 21 minutes of the 90 to play.
Yeah, good play from Maeda there. He had to get himself in because Mandron was in a really, really good position down this right-hand side. Or Young, I'm not sure which one it was, but certainly the position was really, really good. And Maeda just got his body in between the ball and the player and did a good defensive job.
Scales plays it short to McGregor and then back to Trusty. And over to the far side for Ralston. Short ball down the line for Yang, who goes back to the Celtic right back. Now it's Trusty. He's gone long. It's a misunderstanding with Iheanacho, who's coming back the other way. Comes all the way through to Mullen, who plays it short to Donnelly. So much indecision in the Celtic team right now. It is Mandron unable to control. Maida's onto it, back to Scales, and now with Trusty. How do you read these final 20 minutes, Pat?
Well, you know, it's a nervy kind of performance from Celtic. You've got to say they're desperate to see could they create a few chances. They haven't been able to do it, and I think Iheanacho has made a difference coming on, as using his strength. He can play a ball up to him now, like this one here, and he's able to use his body strength. But St Mirren have been very, very good in the second half.
Yeah, and Celtic struggling at times to retain the ball, though Engels is adjudged to have fouled Alan Campbell, who's been left writhing on the deck. Free kick St Mirren just outside their own box. Engels gets a word from the referee.
Yeah,
but he's won another chat with the Belgian.
Yeah, I think he's got the ball, but it was the force that he went in with. His trailing leg caught Campbell, and maybe that's what he's probably been spoken about. Yeah, but he's up on his feet, Campbell. It's a free kick, no more.
Well, similar to the other league games, Celtic won 1-0. That is the scoreline right now that St Mirren are facing. They've got a little bit of time still to play with. There's going to be changes for both. I think Tate's going to be on for Celtic. Richardson's going to be on for St Mirren. They're being readied down below us. Saints give it away. It's picked up by Trusty and then to McGregor. He then plays it out to Yang over on the far side. Back to Ralston. Then to Yang. St Mirren keeping touch tight with them though, as it comes back to Trusty into his own half for Scales, who pushes it forward to McGregor, who plays it first time to Tierney on the left. Tierney down the left-hand touchline for Maida, taking on O'Hara, level with the 6-yard line, across for Iheanacho, who puts it wide.
Wow, that was Celtic's best bit of play in the second half, got to say. They worked the ball through midfield, out to Maeda, using his pace, getting to that byline, and that ball fizzes across, and Iheanacho losing his marker, getting across the front post, just couldn't direct it on target.
Right, Oxley, Chamberlain and McGregor are coming off. McCowan and Hatate will replace them. So McGregor, so often we just saw him plough his way through 90 minutes after 90 minutes. They're being a bit more careful with him recently, Pat. He's had that calf problem, and he's also obviously very much the wrong side of 30 these days. St Mirren make their double change as well. Jake Young is also going to come on with Jayden Richardson. Ayunga is coming off. Just waiting to see who the other St Mirren player to be withdrawn will be. I think it's O'Hara. Anyway, Pat, back to my point, Callum McGregor.
Yeah, listen, I think they should have been doing that a little bit more throughout the season, not waiting until he got that injury. But he's so pivotal to them, that's very difficult for them to maybe leave him out of the team. And very few players can actually maybe play the same role. It's Hatate that's got into that role just at this moment in time. But the problem with Hatate is that, you know, he can put the ball at risk in that position. He'll get on the ball, he'll look for it, but suddenly then, if he loses it, then he hasn't got that same defensive qualities that McGregor has developed over the years.
Saints have it with Richardson on this near side. Forward it comes towards his fellow sub Young. He can't get onto it. It's cleared by Sinisalo. Dundee United level against Livingston at 2-2. That game at Tannadice, and their substitute is not long on actually. Christian Kerestes has scored the goal to level matters. They did lead themselves through Ferry, a double from Smith for Livy, and them 2-1 up. Dundee United back on level terms. Elsewhere, Aberdeen 1, Hibernian 0. Hanley sent off early. Nisbet converted the penalty he'd given away. Hearts 1, Motherwell 1. Longolo for Motherwell, Braga for Hearts just 11 minutes later. Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 1 at Rugby Park. What a huge result that would be, as it would Aberdeen's against Hibs. Would actually take Aberdeen above Dundee in the table. In fact, the Dons have just gone 2-0 up now against Hibs. Kevin Nisbet's penalty earlier on, but the Dons now leading 2-0, and surely will pick up their first win since beating Livingston 6-2, and it would just be a second league win in 17 outings, but it's a start for them. Here's Yang for Celtic, up to the edge of the Saints box, looking for Maida, easily won back by Richardson, who prevents the corner as well. It's a Celtic throw-in, level with the 18-yard line on this near side of Saints.
Yeah, Iheanacho not giving up on that ball. He followed it and eventually won it, and then set up.
Low ball in by Hatate, couldn't find Iheanacho. St Mirren have enough in the way to clear, and Devaney's nicked it out to Phillips. Played 75, Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. Fouled by Maida and Phillips. Martin O'Neill is furious, as are the fans round about us, that decision's gone against his man. St Mirren free kick. That's second Aberdeen goal, also scored by former High B Kevin Nisbet. Aberdeen 2, Hibernian 0.
Yeah, big result that for Aberdeen, because I was getting very, very nervous for them. But
yeah, well, it could be nervous for Celtic here, because Scales has made a mess of judging that, and Young's onto it inside the Celtic box on the right side, clips it towards Mandron at the back post. Too high for him though, and it bounces all the way through to the corner flag for Yang, who plays it forward to McCowan. McCowan under pressure from Campbell, does really well actually, dig it out to Yang down the right hand side. Shows too much of it to Freckleton though. Devaney's onto it, his ball goes straight to McCowan. Now it's with Engels. The Celtic supporters willing their team to score the second goal and put this game to bed without a nervy ending. It's Tierney to McCowan, back to Kieran Tierney on the left. Now it's with Hatate, out to McCowan wide on the left side, and then back to Tierney, infield to Engels. He squares it to Austin Trusty. Again, it's back into this kind of pedestrian, ponderous football that we just weren't seeing under Celtic in their prime under Rodgers and Postecoglou.
No, you're right, and just when they get into a certain part of the pitch, it's almost like as if they come back in themselves and trying to keep possession. There's good, better play.
Here's McCowan.
Go on.
He plays it to Iheanacho and blocked by Campbell. Does well. That was Alan Campbell.
Sorry, that was an example of there. McCowan got into a great position, opened up, and said driving forward. He almost hesitates.
Saints defending well, as they have done for most of the afternoon. Here's McCowan at the edge of the box again, though. Finds a Tate, right hand side of the box, plays it straight off Donnelly, who prevents the corner. Then Freckleton goes to Campbell, to Donnelly, to Campbell, back to his keeper Mullen. He's kept it in play. This is the referee and his assistant over on the far side, Scott Anderson. Celtic wanted a corner. Here's Ralston back into the centre circle. Out to Tierney on this near side. It's a clip ball over the top of Richardson. Maida can't control. Across comes Gogic, who gets it clear, preventing the throw in high up the pitch. Comes off Tierney's head. He heads it behind for the goal kick. And it stays Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. And we are around about 12 minutes out from 90. Celtic leading still. But Pat, this is hard work as Dundee equalise at Rugby Park. Wow. Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 2. Every goal's got so much riding on it just now. And an equaliser for Dundee. We thought they'd gone 2-1 up at one point today. They then went 2-1 down pretty quickly afterwards. But they're back on level terms. As I said, huge goals going in across the country right now. Iheanacho for Celtic. Donnelly gets between man and ball and draws the foul. Little bit cute that by Liam Donnelly. The referee's bought it though. Celtic free kick. St Mirren free kick rather, deep inside their own half. It stays Celtic 1, Saints 0, and it is Scott Wright, the former Aberdeen and Rangers player, who has scored the goal for Dundee, which will be a really big one as well in that battle against that 11th place. It's his first since returning to Dundee on loan from Birmingham. Had been on loan from Aberdeen there early in his career. Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 2. St Mirren have it with Campbell. There's still something in this game for St Mirren. You just feel if they can conjure up one opportunity.
What they've done really well is that they've passed the ball through the thirds of the pitch really well. Just a final probably cross and pass in the final third of the pitch. That's just been missing, but I've been impressed with the way that they've passed the ball.
McMenamin and Edowu will be on shortly. Craig McLeish stands beside the two subs to his left. It's played up to the halfway line here for Young, out to Gogic, can't keep it in play though, and it's out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. Alex Oxlade and Chamberlain scored inside 16 minutes to give Celtic the lead. They haven't been able to add to it.
They haven't been able to create enough chances either. That's the problem.
It's 4 shots on target in the match.
Yeah, and they've had shots, I think, from McGregor early on. They might have had one or two more than one from Shivanchara, which are a huge chance to put it 2-0 and kill the game off. Oh, well, not quite kill the game off, but put them into a much better position. But when it gets down to this now, when it's 1-0, with what, about 10, maybe a wee bit longer, maybe 12 minutes to go, they get very nervous, and St Mirren have got nothing to lose here. They're playing well, they're playing through the pitch really well, and it only takes one chance, and if it falls to the right person, puts it in the back of the net, then.
John and Mandron have come off, incidentally, so they are replaced there by Edowu and McMenamin. But here comes Celtic. It's McCowan scooping the ball to the right side of the Saints box for Yang. Yang has it under control over on the far side. Rolls it back infield to Engels. Engels then square to Tierney. Tierney to the left angle of the box for Dyson Maida, looking to work the 1-2 with Maida. Across it comes. Maida got it back. Iheanacho couldn't get onto it though. And St Mirren blocking clear. Phillips under pressure though. In fact, he's been fouled. Free kick Saints. Right hand side of their own box.
Yeah, better play from Celtic this time, down this left hand side, little give and go. Maida playing that ball across, but really good defender from Gogic, reading the situation, getting across Iheanacho and clearing the ball. Really good.
There was a famous St Mirren victory here in April 1990. Torfason Sean Lambert scored in a sensational 3-0 victory, but they've only won once here since, and that was relatively recently under Jim Goodwin. They did so in January 2021 behind closed doors. So they've played 38 times here since that win in 1990 and won just once. There was also a league defeat at Hampden when Celtic were playing there in 94-95. That was in the Scottish Cup. As Saints pick up on this near side, back with Richardson, level with the Celtic 18-yard line, high up the pitch. Plays it back to Young, fires it across, and it's cleared there by Trusty. Good ball in by Jake Young there. They couldn't take advantage of it, and as the long ball comes through into the Celtic box and Sinisalo gathers, it stays Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. We played 82. Still an opportunity for Saints to get something out of this as Gogic fouls Iheanacho. McCowan would have been in, but in fairness to the referee, the Celtic players were howling for the free kick. The ref gave it, and then they were howling if there was no advantage. They were howling at a decision they wanted in the first place.
Yeah,
yellow card for Gogic as well.
What I liked about Iheanacho was that he started over on his right hand side, ball broke, and suddenly he made the run all the way across the left hand side to try to get on the end of it. Eventually he gets his foul, but that's the work rate that you need. That wasn't happening with Stephen Chara when he was on the pitch, and they were pinned back Celtic for a good period, and I think they'll be much better probably in the second half since he's come on, because they've been a little bit higher up the pitch, but they still haven't created the opportunities. Donnelly's down, I think, at this moment, trying to kill the game a little bit.
Well, they need the goal, St Mirren, so not sure why he'd want to kill the game. Perhaps he felt there was a bit of Celtic momentum there as they go pressing for the second. They would finish this elsewhere. Aberdeen 2, 10-man Hibs 0, Dundee United 2, Livingston 2, Hearts 1, Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 2. In the Championship, Ayr United, who haven't won in ages, 1-0 up against Arbroath. Partick Thistle 2, Dunfermline 0, Raith 3, Morton 2, and St Johnstone 4, Airdrieonians 0. They're in the very closing stages there, and Josh McPake with a penalty to make it 4 for St Johnstone, who will surely now, with just 3 games to go and 5 points clear, win the championship title and return to the top flight at the first time of asking, just as several teams have done in the last few years. The Dundee clubs, Livingston, all coming back the first time of asking. Kilmarnock did it as well. League 1, East Fife 2, Peterhead 1, Hamilton 1, Alloa 0, Kelty 3, Montrose 1, Queen of the South 2, Cove Rangers 0. The top 2 kick off at 5:30. There is a penalty at Tynecastle, and it is a penalty for Heart of Midlothian in the dying minutes of the game there, with the scoreline at 1-1. And you would imagine, I would think, I will be telling you that Lawrence Shankland, assuming he's still on the pitch, has put Hearts 2-1 up in seconds. What a massive goal that would be if he converts, if they convert. Long ball for Celtic down the right. McCowan trying to get it under control. Freckleton's there, and he's done well as Freckleton. He's fouled as well. Free kick, St Mirren, deep inside their own half, though, as we go into the final 5 minutes. Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. And we await to hear, after the VAR check at Tynecastle, to eventually award the penalty if that has gone in.
Well, it's going to be a huge moment in this championship if they can pull themselves back from being a goal down to end up winning the game. And that's the way this is going to go, I think, over the last 5 games after today. There's lots of stories to be written.
Yeah, Shankland's taking the penalty. It was awarded after a VAR check for a handball by Stephen. In fact, Stephen Welsh was involved on loan Celt. In fact, he's kicked Pierre Landry Cabore unintentionally, but it's enough to be a foul, and Shankland's going to take the penalty for Hearts. Meantime, St Mirren have a free kick about 10 yards from the far side north stand touchline for St Mirren, midway inside Celtic half.
Yeah, and this is pressure on Celtic.
2-1 Hearts, by the way. Hearts 2-1 up. Shankland's converted the penalty. Hearts 2, Motherwell 1. So no matter what Celtic do here, Hearts will be top of the table before that, after this round of fixtures. Presumably they'll go on and win that with so little time remaining. St Mirren have it here. Be a big moment here potentially. Chance for Saints. It's a Dowu with the scuff ball into the box. Offside flag was up anyway. Sinisalo's onto it. It is an unconvincing Celtic 1, St Mirren 0, with 3.5 of the 90 to play.
Yeah, the referee again blows for offside when the ball's in the goalkeeper's hands. Just let the game flow. But yeah, that was a missed opportunity for St Mirren there. You get a free kick in a really good area. You've got to put Celtic under pressure and get it into the box and see what can happen.
Scales again passes it straight out the pitch. They are nervous here. Can St Mirren find an equaliser, which would have repercussions at both ends of the table? Donnelly rolls it back to Gogic. He finds Freckleton out to the left side for Idowu. Skips away from a couple of challenges, back out to Freckleton. It's actually got to the point, Pat, where Celtic would just happily sign up for a 1-0 victory.
Yeah, listen, Martin only said it before the game. He'll take a 1-0, but it's not convincing, I've got to say.
Hatate into the path of Maida on this left side. Celtic have another home game after the split to begin with, at home to Falkirk on that weekend. There is an Edinburgh derby at Easter Road. Rangers are at home to Motherwell as Celtic come forward here. It's played right across the face of goal. Iheanacho can't get there. Richardson bundles it behind for the corner. It stays Celtic 1, St Mirren 0 with 2 of the 90 to play.
Yeah, it's a really good ball, and Iheanacho kicks the post in frustration because it was a perfect ball for him to get onto, but he wasn't. Almost caught in his heels a little bit.
And Engels comes trotting over to take the set play. And Celtic looking just for the killer touch here to pick up the 3 points. Nothing that they can do about what's going on at Tynecastle, where Hearts lead Motherwell 2-1. And their top two, Braga and Shankland, with the second half goals to overturn Longallow's opener for Motherwell. Here comes Celtic then with the corner. Engels with the right foot. It's very, very deep. It's headed away by Freckleton as McCowan goes after it on the far side and turns it back to Ralston. Now it's with McCowan, who goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. Sinisalo has it in the 90th minute here. And these fixtures are going to be fascinating, Pat, after the split. You reckoned all three of the top three would win this weekend. You're 2/3 in the weight of that by the looks of things.
Yeah, I could be right. I could be right after all, but it's not what I would say both these teams signed up to at this moment in time. The pressure is mounting, and Celtic just can't put this game to bed. It hasn't looked as if they could put it to bed throughout, and that creates that sort of almost nervousness, apprehension. Obviously Hearts been a goal behind, coming back, showing that resilience.
Iheanacho for Celtic, winning the throw-in off Richardson, level with the St Mirren 18-yard line. We're about to find out what the stoppage time is going to be. The end here, 4 minutes added on. 4 minutes left. Kieran Tierney's over the throw on this near side. A disappointing Celtic performance, not for the first time this season. Tierney bowls it to Yang on this near side. Yang trying to hold off Richardson, comes off Tierney's head and out for a throw into St Mirren on this near side. There is still time for Saints. Every point could be crucial in their battle to avoid the playoff spot. As it stands, Kilmarnock will move a point closer to them. Could have been worse had Dundee not equalised. The final whistles will be going. And in fact, all the Premiership games are into stoppage time. There's Hatate back out to the far side. McCowan goes back to Ralston, who goes back to Trusty. Trusty forward with the left foot out to McCowan on the far side, holding off Campbell as Hearts go 3-1 up against Motherwell. Game over there. It's going to be victory for Hearts, the league leaders. 3-1. And Dundee United have a late penalty as well at home to Livingston, who's run without a win. Looks like continuing. Celtic will go above Rangers, having played a game more, but they will remain 3 points adrift of Hearts, who could well be about to But Kabori's got that goal, so they actually ended up extending their goal difference advantage over Celtic today as well. As Dundee United go 3-2 up on Livingston. It's ending a pretty convincing scoreline for Hearts in the end.
Yeah, and that you talked about goal difference, and that is probably the positive from Hearts.
Well, they're now plus 30 in goal difference. Celtic are plus 24. Yes. Rangers plus 32 have a better goal difference than the two of them. Having played a game fewer now.
Yeah, and I can't see Celtic being a team that's going to rake up big scores to pull that back. You know, it's going to be getting across the line. They might turn it about maybe when they play Hearts if they won the game, but that's a big if.
Well, they've got Hearts here on the final day of the season. In one respect, having them at home, potentially in a title-deciding shootout, is a good thing. However, is there an argument to say you'd won that game earlier in the split, so you've got an opportunity to wound them when you run the risk of dropping more points and not even being in the races going into that final day here?
Yeah, that's it. But listen, they haven't played well today. There's no question that the fluency is not there. But they've got 3 points, and that is a critical factor.
Well, they've got the 3 points if they survive the next minute.
Yeah.
Tierney has a throw-in, level with the edge of the centre circle. It's all over at Tannadice. It's finished 3-2. Zach Sapsford hasn't scored many recently, but he's converted that penalty late on. And Dundee have a penalty at Rugby Park. We'll get to that in a moment. Celtic have forward Maida. He's beaten to it by Freckleton at the edge of the Saints box. As Engels plays it off McMenamin's hand, and that's a free kick to Celtic. So Dundee have an opportunity to beat Kilmarnock. It's all over at Pittodrie. Aberdeen have beaten Hibs 2-0. Nisbet's double after Hanley was sent off. So victory the first time since January in the league for Aberdeen. And that will ease their fears slightly. As it stands, they go above Dundee. But Dundee have an opportunity to go back above them if they convert that late penalty against Kilmarnock. But that puts Aberdeen now, if that goes in, that penalty at Rugby Park for Dundee, it's Aberdeen 6 points clear of Killie. As the final whistle goes here, the signal, victory for the champions. It wasn't pretty. St Mirren battled. They looked good under Craig McLeish, and this was no exception despite the defeat today. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's goal on 16 minutes was enough in the end. Celtic didn't threaten nearly as much as we've become used to watching them being here at home in particular. But it's another single goal victory. And these 3 points, they've just got to keep coming for them, because Hearts have done the business again at Tynecastle, unbeaten at home this season in the league, and indeed since last April. It could be so important that Celtic have got 3 of their 5 remaining matches at home, including against the league leaders, who don't look like wilting at Tynecastle. St Mirren, best chance probably Liam Donnelly in the first half, at the tail end of it with a header from a Devani corner which rippled the roof of the net. And they give Celtic a test. The team they beat in the League Cup final. They'll be hoping to repeat the trick at Hampden a week tomorrow, when these two renew acquaintance in the semi-finals of the Scottish Cup. And even though it wasn't a great performance, it is a win for Celtic, who for now go above Rangers, but they remain 3 points behind Heart of Midlothian. It finished here, Celtic 1, St Mirren 0.